don't ride for nobody, no badge, no crew. Truth don't play favors, it just come through. I don't take sides, I take time and review. So to put it, let the context break through. If you clean, that stamp stay true.
Holy shit, I don't want to look. I don't want to look.
Alright, mango.
Oh, damn.
I hit somebody.
I know. I actually was a fan.
Yeah.
He reminded me of you so much.
When I get out of here, I'm going to start a YouTube. I think the first video I should make is like about this.
On January 31st, 2025, a white van smashes into a car stopped at a red light, leaving the beloved YouTuber known as Desert Drifter in critical condition. But what first appears to be a tragic accident unravels under scrutiny as disturbing evidence pulls the case in a shocking new direction.
Now, for those of you just tuning in, this case is going to take quite a dark turn and crazy turn, and the amount of things you're going to see in it are going to disturb you, including the reaction of the driver that hit the car and the family of the driver that hit the car. The person that was in the car, like they said, was a YouTuber by the name of Desert Drifter. And all he did was take people on this journey while he was out doing cross-country walking, introducing them to different geographic sites and stuff like that. Very calming kind of situation, and he grew really quickly. However, this individual, the driver of the white van, is going to give you a whole different look at the minds of people who do things and their logic behind when they do something wrong, and how quickly people are to defend certain behaviors.
And that is almost like it sped up before it even got to him. There was no, you'll see.
The following is based on official police records, and the footage has never been seen before until now. Just after 10 p.m., dispatchers in Grand Junction, Colorado are alerted to a severe crash involving two vehicles at a four-way intersection.
911, this is Chennai. What is the address of your emergency?
Hey, I'm on the corner of North and First, and there was a crazy accident.
Okay,
we need ambulance here.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of calls. Were you involved?
No, I was not involved. I'm told I don't want to look. I don't want to look.
Okay.
Oh.
Nearly a dozen calls flood in, including one from two witnesses who saw the incident unfold.
The guy was driving sporadically. We could see he ran a red light before. He was hauling butt down the road. And
oh my God, baby, we got
to stop.
And you said it was a van or whatever kind of vehicle?
I can't tell what it is. It's like a utility van. That's the one that ran the red light
and smacked into this other vehicle.
And I can't tell what the other car is, but it's nasty.
Now, if I remember correctly, and you'll hear later on, the individual, Desert Drifter guy, he was not very far from home when this happened. What is the sad part about it is that you might take for granted that you're just around the corner. It's just a short jaunt here, just a hop, skip, and a jump, a stone's throw. Then you encounter somebody like the one in the white van.
Like a sedan of some kind?
Something like that, yeah.
Officers arrive to find the white van with smoke pouring from its damaged engine. A second vehicle lies overturned against a building, its frame crushed so badly it's nearly unrecognizable.
Yes.
Somebody is trapped in this car. Keep talking to you until they get here, okay?
Hello.
There they are. See, he's here, okay? He's conscious. He's like responding.
Is there anybody else in there with you? There's somebody, very, very heavy damage in this car that's upside down. One person trapped inside.
Golly.
Can you hear me in there? Hello, can you hear me? Is there anybody else stuck in that one too?
Yeah, there's a guy that can't help.
Okay. You try to talk to him and get him woke up. I'll go check on that guy.
Oh. Hello. He's breathing.
He's breathing?
He's breathing, but he is unresponsive.
Okay, is there anybody else in there? Are you by yourself?
It's just him. Hey.
35, 58.
Are you okay? I know you were just in a car accident. You're okay. You're okay. You're gonna be okay. Can you?
We're going to need at least 2 ambulances.
He's not responsive. Will you guys try and go on the other side?
I'm going to give you some warning because I think it's essential for you to be warned about certain things. There are going to be some very calloused responses from the individual in the white vehicle. And you'll soon find out exactly why he's responding the way he's responding. And it might make you even more upset at the whole situation. There might be some of you that might have some empathy towards him, a little bit, but the majority, I'm banking that y'all are going to be absolutely outside your mind livid about what you're about to hear.
Yeah. Not going to be able to get that open.
He's breathing.
He is breathing?
He's breathing. He's unconscious. He's buckled. We're going to have fire. They're going to have tools on that. He's on the passenger side.
As you wait.
Breathing. He's breathing. He's not conscious. He's buckled in there.
Tools!
The driver of the overturned car is later identified as 36-year-old Andrew Martin Cross, the YouTuber known as Desert Drifter. While a rescue team prepares to cut him free, an officer up the road tries to keep the other driver calm.
Good. All right, there you go. Yep. All right, just, yep, ambulance is here. Fire truck's going to try to get you out, okay?
Bro.
Okay. You're doing good. Just keep awake, all right?
Bro, I'm a human.
What's that?
I'm a human.
Yeah, you're doing good.
I know, dude.
You're doing good, okay?
Bro, I'm human.
You want to get in there?
The driver of the van is identified as 37-year-old Ragnar Nicholas Nick Crystal, a U.S. Army veteran. The front end of his van is completely crushed, and the dash and steering wheel has effectively pinned him to the driver's seat. Firefighters utilize a spreader, a powerful hydraulic tool, to lift the dash and free him from the wreckage.
Guys.
Yep. All right, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, up and over. Okay, ready? 1, 2. Oh, you got a right behind you. Straight right behind you. Right. Other way. There we go, Nick. All right. There we go. Let's get a C-collar and get lines ready.
Meanwhile, backup officers arrive and attempt to collect statements from witnesses.
Hi. Did you see what happened?
I was just heading westbound. And I saw like maybe a little bit of it, but not enough to give a testimony.
Beside the officer, a bystander records distressing footage of the crash site on his cell phone, which later surfaces on YouTube.
I don't know where Stop recording. Did you guys see what happened?
No, we were same as him.
Okay.
And we just want to stand this criminal justice.
Okay. Ma'am, did you see what happened?
I didn't. I was sitting at Stinker. I saw the explosion, but I didn't actually see exactly what happened.
Okay.
I'm an Uber driver. I was waiting for a call, and so I rushed over and called 911 and tried to do a little assessment for an operator. I really couldn't tell you what happened. I mean, it's, yeah, a car is mangled. Yeah.
Once Nick and Andrew are both freed, they're transported by ambulance to St. Mary's Hospital in critical condition. For first responders who remain at the scene, it's difficult to imagine how both drivers survived such a violent wreck.
Well, that's going to be eventually something that's not going to be true here in a bit. Again, when you see the footage, you'll have some of you will have an odd reaction to it. I think, again, I don't know you, but I'm going to go based on the fact that, like he said, I'm human. You're going to think, what the hell? That's the first thing you're going to think. And second, you're going to hear certain things said by people trying to deliver news about Andrew. And you're going to say, what the hell? And then you're going to hear Ragnar's explanation of the thing. And you're like, bro, what the hell? Those are the three reactions I'm thinking is going to come from you. Again, I don't know you, but I'm going to assume based on the fact that you're human, that's the reaction you're going to have.
Yes, he was wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah.
I think he smacked his head right on that windshield.
You got that stuff? Well, I'm sure he smacked into a lot of stuff.
I can't believe that guy in the van was talking.
What were they chasing?
We weren't chasing him for anything.
We were told that he was running from the cops. This guy was running from the cops. He came through the intersection and checked him out.
No.
No?
No. Yeah.
That's what we were told. We're like, where'd this come from?
Who told you that?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no.
It was passed on to one of our guys, and then they passed it on.
Yeah.
Game of telephone.
Yeah, that's how that stuff starts.
Yeah, exactly.
Rumors aside, officers are still a long way from understanding the truth of what happened here tonight. An officer arrives at the hospital and attempts to question Nick, the driver of the van, but this proves challenging.
Hey, Nick. I'm Officer Keys.
Please release my body.
Can you tell me what happened?
Don't grab there.
Why is it my fault?
I didn't say anything. I just asked you what happened.
These crazy people want control.
Okay. Can you tell me what your name is?
Can I have my body back?
Though his words make little sense, it's still too soon to determine whether that's due to injury or something else entirely.
How many money y'all want to put down? We're going to take some bets. That injury ain't got diddly squat to do with it. How much are we willing to bet that injury don't got nothing to do with this? That he only survived because of what might actually be the reason why he had the accident. I'll tell you a story after you hear the layout of his condition. Because I think once you hear the layout of his condition, my story will make a whole lot more sense to you.
Back at the scene, officers gather statements from more witnesses, but even with their combined accounts, it's difficult to pinpoint exactly what happened.
This car was facing eastbound on north at the red light. White car blows the red, smashes into this one, crashes, like drags this thing, pushes it, and I'm thinking it trips
right there at that curb.
Oh shoot! That right there hits that, spins or flops over, and that guy continues, and he could see. I'm assuming the tire's either on its rim or was trying to brake because these big old gouge marks.
Nearly 2 hours after the crash, Andrew's wife Evelyn arrives at the scene. She would later explain that Andrew was on his way home from backpacking and filming for his YouTube channel at Bears Ears National Monument. When he never made it back, she tracked his phone to the intersection. Andrew was just 4 minutes from home. At the hospital, an officer answers what few questions she can from Evelyn as she relays the information to Andrew's family over the phone.
Do you know how fast the person is going? A little over the speed limit. A little over the speed limit, so probably speed limit's like 30 there.
And it was not, that's the part where I told you I really don't understand what the officer was even remotely thinking about. You can just look. You just have to look at the impact to know this individual was not just going a little over the speed limit. Okay, maybe you're trying to lessen the blow of what happened, but don't be stupid to make people believe, oh, just a little over this. No, the man was speeding. That's not a little over the speed limit. A little over the speed limit would be 35 in a 30, 37 in a 30. That would be a little over, and even that would be excessive. Wow.
Yeah. Is there any other information you can share with me? No, that's all the officers can share. It was not his fault. It was not his fault, is all that they can confirm, which just pisses me off.
According to public updates posted by the family, Andrew underwent surgery at the hospital to control bleeding in his brain, and his condition stabilized. Traffic cameras captured the moment his Subaru Outback came to a complete stop at the red light. 7 seconds later, the white cargo van plowed into the back of his vehicle, sending it barreling through the intersection. Andrew's father later made a guess at how fast the van was really traveling through.
Remember, a little over the speed limit was the officer's statement.
The 35-mile-per-hour zone.
Am I out of the ballpark if I say if I suspect that he was hit from the rear?
something approaching 80 miles an hour.
Yes, you'd be right on.
However, these angles failed to capture the van in the crucial seconds before impact. Later, surveillance videos from nearby businesses, combined with recovered crash data, would paint a far clearer picture.
We can just hope right now and hope the miracle happens and Andrew survives this.
A little over the speed limit. I don't know what their theory was behind saying something at asinine. I couldn't tell you why they would even think to tell the family that this was something good to suggest. It was just a little over the speed limit. No idea.
By February 6th, 1 week after the crash, Andrew's family shares an update. Though he has no spinal damage, a CT scan shows increased bleeding and several small strokes on the left side of his brain. He's kept under sedation to give his brain time to rest. Meanwhile, Nick is recovered enough to answer questions from investigators.
Do you have a broken pelvis or something somebody was saying or something?
Yeah, they had to cut open my stomach like C-section, and they had to cut down my leg just to get at my hip bone to jam it back into the socket.
Is that a bone down there?
I got stitches like what's Jack from that Christmas movie.
Oh, wow. So what's the last memory you have, like I said, before the crash?
My gas pedal, the mat that's underneath it, I guess got stuck on it. I bent down to pick it off of it, and the next thing I know, I'm like, bam! And all my stuff is flying around. I'm in extreme pain, and I did it for a freaking rug, dude. I don't remember anything after crashing into them.
Is that they were just stopped?
Really?
They were just stopped at a red light. So, yeah.
How old are they?
What? I can't answer that, but close to you, sir.
Oh, for man.
Yeah, it's a very sad situation for everybody involved.
According to police records, technicians noted during the van's inspection that the accelerator pedal had been snapped off. After reviewing crime scene photos, the mat also appeared to be partially bent up on both sides after the wreck. While it is possible the mat became stuck, observations made by medical staff after Nick arrived at the hospital point to a more concerning possibility.
Any drugs, alcohol, or any other distractions that night, sir?
No, so since I don't have a phone and my leg was visibly out of my skin, I didn't know how to cope and wait. So I drank a bunch of shots just sitting in my vehicle just to try to mitigate with something I'm still struggling with right now.
That make any sense to any of y'all? Just on the surface, let me paint the picture for you. You're going down the road, speeding, or just going the speed limit. Let's just say you're going the speed limit, and the mat underneath your foot is bunched up. So you reach down to pull that up. Say you are going only 35 miles an hour. You plow into the back of a car. It goes all the way through the intersection, all the way down, past the building, into the building. You go and skid to the stop. You look down and you see your leg. The first thing you think to do, because you don't have a phone, is to drink. The very first thing you decide to do is to grab small bottles of liquor that you have in your vehicle and chug them. Okay, that's what he's going with. All right.
Okay, so are you talking after the crash?
After, yeah.
Oh, after the crash, you start drinking a bunch of shots.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. But nothing before.
No, the pain was so freaking intense that it's and I knew I didn't have a way to call you guys because I don't have a phone.
Right.
And so I was trying to do everything I can to be like, help me,
right.
Come on, somebody call the cops, please help me, and drink because how much pain I was in.
Okay. Did any of that come across when you saw the video early of him being spoken to? dude, I'm a human. I'm a human. That sounds like somebody saying, call the cops. That sounds like a lucid individual. Oh, wait, you're going to tell me. That's because after he had the shots, then his mind became incapable of thinking. That's what it was. Yeah. Because every rational individual carries around shots in their car and also decides to chug all of them after an accident. Logic. Okay.
During the van's inspection, a white trash bag was found containing numerous small bottles of alcoholic beverage containers that were either empty or nearly empty. The bag itself contained a dark brown liquid substance that smelled, quote, foul, such as vomit. Investigators would return to this subject later after obtaining his hospital records. For now, investigators continue gathering evidence while monitoring Andrew's condition. On February 18th, his father shares that he's been taken off sedation and is breathing with minimal ventilator support.
That's where we are. We'll keep you posted.
No, please keep me 100% posted.
Yeah.
I can't, like I said, I don't have a lot of words for your family right now. But I've been looking at my own son, honestly, a lot different. He's 16, going to be 17 soon, and every time he leaves the house now or anything driving, like, your family is, on my mind. And I'm sorry. So
yeah, no, I appreciate it. Everyone works.
Andrew is still in the ICU on February 21st when Nick is finally discharged from a VA hospital. He's promptly intercepted by police officers and arrested on a vehicular assault warrant. Before heading to jail, he's brought in for an interview.
How you doing, man?
With all things considered, I think they're trying to keep me in a hospital to treat me as like a psychosis or like making something into something that's not.
Oh, really?
So I just wanted to come to you guys and face some music.
Okay.
Okay, let's get this part.
Sure, I get that. And so as far as your injuries, it sounds like you can kind of walk now and stuff like that?
I can't put weight on it, but I've gotten pretty good at hopping.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to get better.
I'm glad you're doing okay and that you're going to heal up, brother.
No, I appreciate it. The thing that bugged me the most was that guy's not quadriplegic and he's alive.
Sure.
Nick shares with the investigators that before crashing the van, he'd been living in it and was traveling toward the West Coast.
As of recently, I lost both my cats and I was just trying to go to the Native American ruins just to like keep my mind distracted. But that's been something that I really need is like a career or a job you go into, like a purpose in life.
Interestingly, many of the videos on the Desert Drifter YouTube channel feature Andrew visiting ancient ruins and prehistoric sites. According to a video posted by his wife Evelyn, exploring these landscapes left Andrew with a, quote, sense of peace and purpose.
I came back to a country that said 9/11 was a scam and, it's like we were murderers and all kind of stuff. So it was really hard to get help and meet anybody knowing that I was a veteran, especially in like super liberal states.
Okay.
They had a lot more animosity. So I was just trying to drive around until I found a state that accepted a veteran just trying to get back on his feet.
Claiming he has little memory of the crash, Nick listens as the officer walks him through what they saw on the traffic cameras.
When it hit, right, you guys went across the intersection, you shoved the other vehicle, goes...
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, take your time.
No, it's fine.
And so it shoves into that light pole on the southeast corner there. And then from there, your van continues eastbound along the sidewalk, comes to rest in an upright position, and the other vehicle overturned, unfortunately, from there, okay?
He then returns to a familiar story, one that quickly falls apart under scrutiny.
It was like being in a dream. Nothing seemed real. Like I was in complete shock. All I could feel was pain radiating all through my body.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do. I keep emergency shots I have like emergency kit with like Band-Aid and stuff.
Okay.
And so I keep shooters in there. And I just remember drinking them and throwing them out the window.
How many of you keep emergency shooters or emergency shots in your car? Maybe if you haven't, consider not doing that. Please, not to consider doing it. Consider not keeping emergency shots in your car. Last time we checked, those things are regulated by a thing we call law. And last time I also checked, driving under said influence of those things is against that law, and you can indeed be held liable for doing exactly that. What could make things even worse is if you're traversing the earth in a vehicle while keeping these emergency shots and consuming said emergency shots while traversing the earth in your vehicle and colliding with someone else traversing the earth, whether on foot, bicycle, or vehicle, you are now liable for something that would break the law. Do not be like Ragnar. Please, just don't. Okay.
As imaginative as his explanation might be, it's in direct conflict with witness statements and what's clearly observed in body cam footage.
Breathing.
He's breathing?
He's breathing, but he is unresponsive.
Did you ever see him eat or drink anything while they were in front of you?
No, for the majority of the time he was unconscious.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it. It was like, I wasn't me. This isn't real. This isn't happening. And I think it was like a dream. And so doing the shooters was like me trying to connect back to reality almost.
Sure.
I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah.
Hospital records would later reveal that Nick had a blood ethanol level of 0.201 when his blood was drawn at the hospital at 1:45 a.m., nearly 4 hours after the crash. Detectable amounts of fentanyl and THC were also found in his bloodstream. Investigators also shared something with Andrew's father that has disturbing implications.
We have a ready report. Do you know what that is?
No.
Report every drunk driver immediately.
Oh.
We have that from hours prior to the crash, out near the Palisade area.
Okay.
With that van. But that was quite a few hours prior, but had already reported that they were possibly, under the influence at that point.
Put this into context for you. This man supposedly drank so much that hours before he hit, then 4 hours after he hit, the man was still drunk to the point where if you were to take samples of his blood and reuse it, you can actually get enough alcohol out of his blood to get drunk yourself. I mean, normal people might be dead by that point with that much alcohol in them, but not him. Not him. He's still human. Still human. 2 hours prior, drunk. Hits. 4 hours post, still drunk. Exponentially. Okay.
Have you ever gotten a DUI before or anything like that?
11 years ago.
Oh, 11 years. Oh, quite a while ago.
According to police records, Nick was arrested in February of 2014 and charged with DWI, aggravated DWI, and reckless endangerment. He was sentenced to 3 years of probation. However, the potential consequences this time could be far more severe given Andrew's condition.
The guy hit's not a quadriplegic. He's not that.
I have no idea what his status is going to end up being. I mean, he's still at the hospital, right? He's still not doing very well at all, but I don't know what his end result will be.
Now I'm going to give you my story. I remember when I was in college, there was a movie theater that we used to go to quite often. And there was this one individual who showed up to the movie theater not so sober. Now, the movie theater had double. You remember back in the day, they used to have the balcony levels to certain theaters. Now they just have one rows, but used to have, balcony was normal. And this individual decided to sit in the balcony. And drunk, absolutely off his behind. And you're talking about a 15-foot, 60 and 70-foot fall. Falls off the balcony onto chairs below. Gets right back up. Why? Because his body was just so pliable that it just was like dropping silly putty on something, and you can just put back the constitution of that silly putty back together. Kind of like this clown, that he was so gone that the one person he hit who was rigid and sober, he could survive it because his body was just so malleable to impact. crash dummy, if you will. I will never understand people like this. Second story is that my son, my 10-year-old, does this exact same face when he knows what he did, but wants you to feel bad for punishing him for something he did. That same look of the down and the blinking and the, oh, man, and keeping your head down. That's not, I'm sorry. That is, damn it, I was caught. How do I get out of this? You're not.
He's not alert. He's not awake. And so I spoke to his father. I've spoken to his wife a few times. And so we're just trying to put it all back together, what actually happened that night. The only thing, like I said, that I know for sure, based off of the video, is that he was just stopped at a red light when you hit the back of his vehicle.
Maybe this thing has changed the course of what your purpose looks like.
I don't think I would have ever forgiven myself. Like, I think this probably is what needed to happen.
Even if this incident changes the course of Nick's life for the better, Andrew's father would likely disagree that it was worth the cost of what happened to his son.
How are you doing? I can't imagine. It's not. It's messed up.
Like you shouldn't have happened.
No, it should never have happened.
It's not even explainable really.
And it's not in any way. Like, so there's, when I've dealt with a lot of crime in my 19 years shooting. There's sometimes where people are victims, right?
Yeah.
And then there's victims, right?
Yeah.
And this is one where it's just 100%. He is a victim every way. Is there anything you want me to tell the family, or that you would say that
I would gladly give my life, because I don't have one, for that person just to wake up and have one.
Okay. Right.
Following Nick's interview, he's booked into the Mesa County Jail. But the case is far from over. Crash data, additional surveillance footage, and Nick's own private confessions will soon cast the incident in a much darker light. For now, Nick reaches out to his estranged mother, who's all too familiar with the victim, Andrew Cross.
Hello, Nick.
Oh my God. Mama.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're alive.
I hit somebody.
I know. I actually was a fan.
Yeah.
He reminded me of you so much. Eric and I used to watch his videos. In fact, we were going to go and take trips to some of the places he'd been just to get out and do something.
Andrew's YouTube channel, described as exploration and adventure with a historical twist, mainly focuses on solo hiking treks in both well-known and remote areas, often highlighting historical sites and artifacts. While collecting Andrew's belongings from the totaled car, his father shared further details about his son.
He was a history major undergrad at Virginia Tech. He started this channel on a whim because he had an interest in the as you know, these are referred to them, the ancient peoples that populated the lands to our west and south here. So he started putting his videos up, and he's in less than a year he had over 400,000 subscribers.
I don't know if you know how difficult that is to do, but that's damn difficult to do. You can't just start one and hope and a dream and wish. You got to have some engaging content, and you got to stay fairly depolarized. You got to stay you got to pick a niche to grow that fast. Pick a niche that either people are extremely polarized to, one way or the other, or there are people not wanting to be polarized, and that's where you stay. And then once you're in that line, you have to be at least engaging enough with whatever you pick that people want to watch. Having taken a glance, 64 videos and almost 500,000 people watching you, you were engaging enough and nice enough, or at least people thought this is my escape enough that they wanted to watch. I'm saying all that because there's something going to be said that might upset you, okay?
To date, his YouTube videos have amassed over 97 million views.
I've been doing this stuff for years and never would have imagined that other people would be interested in coming along.
3 weeks after the crash, updates show that Andrew has begun to respond to pain, which his wife Evelyn writes is a positive step in the right direction. Meanwhile, Nick continues speaking to his mom from jail, describing his van life adventures.
Just wait.
I was going long-term camping. Mom, I saw the most beautiful things in nature that really... So, like, Jesus, Jesus in the Bible, he's like the embodiment of like feminine and masculine. I think that's why he has like a big heart. And in the military, they only teach you how to be masculine. You know, how like feelings are poison, and like, talking about your feelings is something gay or whatever. But like, when I was camping, I saw the entire Milky Way. And I was crying for the first time in my life.
On February 22nd, Andrew's sister shares that he's developed pneumonia, but continues breathing on his own with little support. They also begin reading him comments left by his fans, who pray relentlessly for his recovery. In a video call recorded from jail between Nick and his sister, they discuss what Andrew's condition means for his case.
Yeah, so I guess Andrew's going to make it out of this, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of a godsend, dude, if I'm really being honest with it.
Given the type of family he comes from, I don't think they're going to try to, like, really mess you up, man. You know?
Well,
I think if Andrew makes it out of this...
Dude, I'm like,
I'm
pretty
God,
emotional
God's,
about
like,
that, dude.
had your back on this. Like, you have to see God. Like, God crashed you both, like, but God's kind of, like, coming out on this one.
God crashed you both. I mean, it's one thing to say that maybe God's had a supervisory statement in your life, but golly, goodness gracious. Anyway.
No, I don't want that to be on my conscience. And like, I think all of this happened for a reason.
On February 28th, Andrew's sister Jenna provides another update on her brother's condition. Writing, his responses to neuro exams haven't changed. If anything, they've become less noticeable. The statistics about Andrew's likelihood to have a moderate recovery or even regain consciousness are discouraging. And it seems like the more info we get, the bleaker the picture.
Yep.
As officers visit with Nick at the jail, he requests an update.
Is Andrew still alive? He still is, but I don't know that it's looking very good. So I do know he's in extremely bad shape, but his family's there praying for him and stuff, and but I don't know, man. Just to be perfectly honest, I don't
want to hear that. If he makes it even, I'm still gonna make a YouTube about that.
Yeah,
or something.
Do something
just to prevent people, because it's like I can't even sleep. I can't even.
Yeah, I think, and I do know folks that go around and like speak at different, like maybe
I would like to do it while I'm still in and have the kids see me get shackled back up. Because it really would teach a lesson. Like, bro, I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
As Andrew's condition declines and Nick remains behind bars, investigators continue analyzing the evidence. In the week following the crash, officers met with nearby businesses, gathering two new angles of the crash. The first offers a wider view of the street, and the audio captures the moment of impact with disturbing clarity.
Oh my goodness. Bro. Damn. There wasn't even, it didn't even look like there was an iota of I'm gonna stop this in his. Wow.
The footage reveals that once the van struck Andrew's car, it carried it down the street until it collided with a light pole, causing it to roll over as it landed against the building. Another nearby business caught a similar angle, but one disturbing detail stands out.
And then it's crazy. They were coming from way far away. And that is almost like it sped up before it even got to them. There was no, you'll see.
In video footage recorded on an officer's phone, the van can be seen gaining intense speeds before smashing into Andrew's car at the stoplight. According to crash data, Nick was traveling at 80 miles per hour 5 seconds before impact. In the final tenth of a second, his speed climbed to 82, indicating he accelerated just before the collision. After learning the exact speeds at which his son was struck, Andrew's father shared a calculation with the investigating officer.
The weight of that van I estimated to be 10,000, his to be 4,000. Speed of travel, 82 miles an hour, his car being stationary. And the Google's AI, artificial intelligence module spit out the calculation because they laid it all out in 6 steps. The bottom line is that he suffered an impact of over 87 G's of force.
Wow. The report also notes that a stuck floor mat would not explain this acceleration, and that a reasonable driver would have applied the brakes. Despite all the data, nothing could explain what compelled Nick to speed up before striking Andrew's car.
I've been through some tough stuff, dude, and I didn't have a means to react because I have insecurity issues and PTSD, this kind of. And so, I don't know if my subconscious took over that night as, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but, I don't remember anything,
Gemini.
dude. Yeah, I'm tired of even hearing that because of who was
I'm
targeting me for so. No, it's.
Why is she laughing? That's my biggest. You're a Gemini. And every time something stupid happens, I'm crazy. I was crazy. So maybe the crazy part of me took over because crazy.
Fine, it's hilarious.
While it's unclear exactly who Nick believes was targeting him, he spoke further on the topic with his mother.
There's some YouTuber bragging to the internet saying she was hacking my phone. It's it was a pretty traumatic 7 years ever since meeting Ross. And instead of doing hard drugs and becoming a criminal, I did everything I could to keep my sanity. And what happened with Andrew was a complete mistake. I never intended that to happen.
Of course not.
Dude, I was on the phone with the government and I was like accurately pointing out their emotions on a phone as they felt them, even reading their minds. And I became such a controversy that there's thousands of people on the internet that were calling me the beast from the Bible, dude.
And while discussing the crash with his mother, a crucial detail in Nick's story suddenly changes.
I had edibles for, PTSD or whatever to go to sleep at night, and I hadn't drank in a year. It wasn't me drinking on my own because I'm sad. There was somebody that came up to my van that offered me, they had a big bottle of Jägermeister, and that's the last thing I remember. And
So now somebody came up to your car with a big bottle of Jägermeister. First of all, they come to your car. Did they choke you and rip your mouth open and pour the stuff down your throat, or did you take it from them and ingest it? That's what I want to know. For those of you who haven't had Jägermeister, people don't voluntarily just decide to go drink Jägermeister. You got to love alcohol, really love alcohol, to decide Jägermeister is what you're going to drink. That thing is like black licorice and NyQuil. That's the best description I can give you for Jägermeister. Black licorice and NyQuil. And I'm talking about the old NyQuil, not the new stuff that's a little sweet. We talking about vintage NyQuil, like back in the day when you were sick and you didn't want to take it. That NyQuil. First level NyQuil. That just the taste alone will make you feel better because you don't want to take it again. So some dude walks up to you, offers you a large bottle of Jägermeister. That's your new story, not the little shots in your. Okay, cool. All right.
And I remember waking up in the hospital, just lost and alone, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so when somebody offered me a drink, I took it because it was another human being who you know, like I'm alone, I'm by myself, like offered a good thing to me, or so I thought, and I kind of forgot my problems with alcohol, you know?
And if you buy that, I got plenty more things I can sell you that don't make sense, but you'll buy it. Okay.
Yep, I do.
But now I get it.
In a cruel twist of irony, Andrew's father shared that his son once worked with a group that provides support for struggling adults, including those who are suffering from PTSD.
They're in Utah nearby. Then they're an outdoor, you know, registered or whatever you have to be, accredited outdoor therapy program for people with primarily drug addictions they're trying to kick, but also some alcohol.
I have a lot of people in my life that love me, but I didn't love myself. And I couldn't forgive myself for everything that I didn't want to talk about. And it kind of ended up like this.
Okay.
And you guys are right. You're right about everything. I didn't know how to open up to you guys. I didn't know how to talk to you. And it was better to drown my problems in probably every bottle I ever drank, alone by myself with no friends. But I think this kind of needed to happen because the last time we ever talked was when I got my first DWI.
Yeah.
And I think it's ironic. The only thing that I want is for that guy that I've hit make it through.
As he continues sharing with his sister, Nick reveals the plans for his own future.
There were so many thousands of people demanding that I got a gift, and they couldn't figure out where it came from, whether it was a brain injury or like somebody's looking over me. And I think all of this needed to happen. And like, I have an idea of what I want to do when I get out. Like maybe to make a YouTube, but I wanted to make tents and sell them because I kind of got into sewing. But like, just to travel with that message too, you know, like just have like, you know, free coffee and be like, hey, if you don't buy anything, I've been lonely for a long time and I admit it, you know, and it would be good to just have coffee with somebody. But if you want to buy my stuff, that's cool too.
If there ever was a definition for out of touch and ill-timed and aloof conversations, this would be it. This would be it right here. You know he's a YouTuber. You found that out. And the thing you decide you want to do is, after doing what you did, start your own YouTube channel. And not to address your issue. No. Something else. Stitching tents. Okay. That's a spit in the face if I ever saw one.
You're a multifaceted person. I can't see you staying in one niche. Like Gemini.
Well, then help me make
Gemini,
it, and then be a part of the channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not?
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. And I think the first video I should make is like about this.
But while Nick dreams of a future in the spotlight, Andrew continues to decline. On March 2nd, 1 month following the crash, Andrew's sister announces the family's difficult decision to remove him from life support, following multiple strokes affecting important parts of his brain. She writes, "We know that a life dependent on machines is not what Andrew wants."
It had to be exactly this way. It had to be a guy that you would have loved. You know, like if it had just been some schmuck, like maybe this wouldn't have hit so heavy, but like he's a good dude, man. Like
dude, I was in court, and like when they didn't know if he was going to make it or not, and they said like his wife, like we left her voicemails and we might need to push this. I'm trying not to go there, but like you might need to push this to a manslaughter. I've cried all through court, dude.
On March 4th, 2025, 36-year-old Andrew Martin Cross passed away in the company of his wife, family, and friends. Before his death, Andrew's best friend and dad tirelessly dug through the wreckage of Andrew's car to find his camera, in the hopes of salvaging his footage.
Right? He's got a camera that's on a pole that he does a lot of scanning with.
Yeah.
And
wait a minute here.
Sometimes he uses that one.
Yeah, he uses that.
Do you know what it looks like?
Yeah, it looks like your body cam. Kind of
On a stick?
on a stick.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is we found in that van earlier, and I wonder if when they were scooping things, if they threw it in there.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
So wait, just a minute. Let me go over there. Let me see. They're missing a 3D camera, and they're describing it as that one that we saw here, John. That 3D one? Yeah, cool.
I think I got it, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Is that his?
That's awesome. Yeah, that's his. Wow. Heck yeah. That's great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Miraculously, the equipment was still functioning enough to download the footage. Evelyn uploaded the final adventure of her husband to his YouTube channel in October of 2025.
Nothing but shenanigans, my friends. I'm glad you were with me. I could feel your presence.
As Nick faces upgraded charges in the wake of Andrew's death, he recalls a near-death experience in which he was given an unexpected warning.
Who wants to take a shot at what the warning might be? Of course, this is a warning that he's telling you about afterwards. Hindsight warning. Because I don't know, something tells me that he probably didn't get this warning. We don't know, but I just find it ironic that this is the time that you're going to tell us that you had this particular warning. Let's hear it.
Like, I was at peace, but like, Grandma was trying to explain to me, like, you can't leave a debt unfulfilled, especially when you take somebody's life. Once I pay the price for my crime, which is Andrew, in a court of law, I don't owe any, I'm not a sinner. I didn't, you know, it's like, it's when you do crimes against people and you run away from it, that's when you're a sinner. That's when you're a liar. That's when you're a manipulator. But if you get punished here on earth, then it's settled.
On October 8, 2025, Ragnar Nicholas Crystal pleaded guilty to vehicular homicide while driving under the influence as part of a plea agreement. In December of 2025, he was sentenced to 10 years in the Colorado Department of Corrections, followed by 3 years of parole. If you'd like to see select new videos early,
10 years. For what we saw. 10 years. Hey, look, bruh. Maybe I'm the lost one. Maybe I just don't know what the hell is going on anymore. I just don't understand how you can that. What we saw, what it was pretty damn obvious. Information prior to the crash, information after the crash. 10 years. Okay. Well, look, it is what it is. I mean, ain't nothing we can do about that one. That don't make sense to me, but I'm not in charge of that law. Hopefully he fixes himself. I can hope that. It might not. I guess only time will tell, considering that he won't be out till 35, not age, but 2035. Somewhere in there. 36. But 10 years and then 3. Okay, well, maybe the probation has some, you can't drive or can't drive unaccompanied, or you can't get his license for another 3 years. I don't know what the hell that probation is going to include, but that don't make no damn sense to me. Condolences to the man's family. And I want to know what you think. Is that enough time? Should there be more penalty? Should it be something heavier? I think it should be heavier, a lot longer than 10 years. You killed a man, and you killed him with reckless disregard for anybody else's safety. You could have easily killed more people. Anyway, let us know what your thoughts are on this one, and we'll see you on the next one.
One wrong move, turn the present into the past. I don't ride for nobody, no badge, no crew. Truth, don't play favorites, it just come through. I don't take sides, I take time and review, so to put it, let the context break through. If you clean, that stamp stay true. If you foul, that show up too. No miss, no spin, no cover up hype. Everything judge and plain sight.